It's the bell lap. We need a bell. It's the bell lap of the coaches show.
Ding,
6 hours
ding,
and right
ding.
here. You know, in the 1500 meter swimming in the Olympics where they're swimming so many laps you can't possibly count.
I just
so
think
they
of
ring a bell
Apollo
for 'em.
Creed. Ding, ding.
Yeah. Well, here we go. We got a good one to end with. West High's Derrick Dunham is in the house. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm blessed. Blessed to be here, humbled, and I appreciate having me.
I'm glad you could be here, and you know, you are a guy who
Best
I think
dressed.
is definitely the best dressed guy.
You know, I just came from class. You know, we had class, had to
I
run
love
over
it.
here. Yeah.
What do you
yeah.
teach?
I teach special education.
Okay.
Yeah, special education.
Yeah, you're not dressed like one of those PE guys. I can tell you.
You
that
know
right
what? I discussed with my wife last night. Hey, I got to get over to an interview. I got to get my coach's shirt. I didn't have time today, guys. Sorry.
It's all right. You're wearing Viking colors though.
There
It's
you go.
okay.
There you go.
So strange off season for you. Mark Camps was the coach at West all the way up until May, April, May.
July. Late June.
Was
July,
it? Yeah, gosh,
it was
oh, that's
late.
right.
It
It was
was
yeah,
late,
it was
late,
late June.
late.
So we're talking really late in the game. Decides he's not going to do it again for another year. You get the call from your athletic director, or maybe I don't know if you reached out. How did that process go, and how has it been for you in the 6 weeks since then?
It's just it's just hard to explain because it's just been so different than any other year. We would normally get ready for the freshman football program. That's normal. But then all of a sudden say, hey, you need to be in charge of all of it. And
It's like a runaway train you're trying to stop. Yeah.
So I got the call that Mark had stepped aside, and so we were just scrambling just to make sure to take care of the whole program. The other coaches stepped up, assistant coaches, and so we put our plan together right away. And then, unfortunately, I had a summer trip scheduled with my children back east, so I was gone for 8 or 9 days. So that kind of threw in there. And so those last couple of weeks of July, if it wasn't for our assistant coaches, administration stepping up, I don't know where we'd be. But right now, we're in a good spot.
Yeah, Derrick, you're wearing. I noticed it right away when you came in the Valley Championship ring from the 2005 West team, which you know what that symbolizes to me is you've been at this school for a while now.
Long time.
And this, I mean, you are West High through and through, just like Mark was, and just like Brock Snyder was before that. But you know, you're. Did I say yeah?
No, it'd be Chad Greider.
Chad Greider.
Brock Snyder's our head soccer coach. Yeah.
Chad Greider, not Snyder. Yeah, Chad Greider, son of Dallas Greider.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of history at this school, and you've been a part of a lot of it.
Yeah.
How much does it mean to you to take over the program?
You know, in the situation that we're in now, I tell everybody, well, everybody says congratulations and stuff. Well, I'd rather have Mark here, you know, Mark with us. And Mark's a great coach, did some tremendous things for West High School. Just very fortunate to be able to coach with him. Started with Coach Manning back when he came to West High School, Coach Rich Cornford over in Frontier, Chad Greider, Coach Camps, and myself. But, yeah, I've been around since '82 as a freshman there at West, and, you know, as a player and then kind of a fan and then a booster. And next thing you know, I'm coaching and I'm teaching there. And so, yeah, pretty much green and gold through and through. But, yeah, all those coaches been a tremendous ride all those years. So, yeah, going into my 19th year there.
And as we look at what you've got on the field, and I know there were some difficulties. You had a quarterback transfer to Garces late, also, which is again you gotta adjust. I mean, you got to keep moving on. What excites you about this year's team as you look forward to 2016?
Well, you know, the pride that they're dedicating themselves to. We talk about Viking pride. We talk about participating and having that responsibility, integrity. Determination and empathy, and they're really buying into the school motto that our morals, our values, and these kids, no excuses. We're not hanging out on anything. Whether Coach Camps leaves, quarterback leaves, it's hard enough to coach there. But when you have other kids in other schools, you know, maybe tugging a little bit at some of your kids, it makes it even harder. But still, once again, we still got to wake up and we got to go to work. And yeah, we have no excuses. So we're kind of hanging our hat on that and coming in battle every day in practice.
That was Chris Coleman, by the way, who graduated to Garces, very talented guy, or transferred to Garces, very talented guy.
Yeah.
But again, something we've heard segment in and segment out of these past 2 days. Next man up, and it's Gabriel Salcido, and he's only a junior, which is nice because you get to groom him for next year as well. But he's a pretty good player in his own right.
Really, yeah. I had him as a freshman, played freshman football for me. Coach Camp saw in the future also, so he had him out last year for 2 games in the playoffs. Actually had some really successful drives versus Ridgeview. We were in that game in the first half. I don't know if people remember a couple of big special team breakdowns, and Ridgeview gets a couple of scores there. But Gabriel came in led. We had Chris playing halfback, so we thought, you know, maybe this year that'll probably be the future. You know, Chris moving to a skill position and Gabriel taking over. So he's got experience. And I was telling the other day in an interview, you know, he's a linebacker mentality, but a quiet linebacker. But the kids, you know, kind of rally around that.
So there was a chance he'd play quarterback anyway, and you'd use Chris somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think Coach Camps was really seriously looking at that.
And that was actually Josh Bennett you talked to, who actually played for Camps at North.
There you go. There
back
you
in
go.
the day.
I would, be remiss if I did not mention the offensive line, because that makes Gabriel's job easier, everybody else's job easier, and you, thankfully, giving everything else that's going on, you have some experience returning.
Yeah, a couple guys returning. Andy Diaz, or Andy Garcia, and Steven Chavez coming back on the O-line. And now they didn't see extensive play last year, but they do have some experience. Very fortunate to coach with our assistant coaches, Wyatt Ross, 29 years coaching in Kern County. I heard the interview earlier with Coach Denman. Coach Ross has been at West through Coach Snead era, up at BC for several years. Yeah. So a good friend of mine. So he's doing a varsity with us again. He coaches the O-line. So we're very fortunate to have that experience for these younger kids coming up, and being able to rely on that quite a bit.
When you were at West, early 80s, right?
82 to 86, yeah.
This was the absolute one of the football powerhouses of the Central section. I mean, they won 3 straight, 3 out of 4 maybe Valley titles, late 70s, early 80s. You were right after that, still very successful. Obviously, things have changed, with boundaries and socioeconomically and things like that. Where is the program in your eyes, and where can you go from here as far as future success?
I don't think it's ever lost that tradition from the past, as far as we're always constantly reminded in our locker room, our weight room, the banners that are up there. And as coaches, I feel it's our responsibility to continue, talking about the tradition. Obviously, to some of those kids, it's just a ghost in the past. But to be able to have that tradition, I think it rivals, other than the drillers. You talk about Valley titles, things like that, the things that Coach Greider, Kevin Snead, Dave Titsworth did back in those 80s. We rally around it. I know the coaches have to remind me everything. Every now and then, it's not 85, Coach Dunham. It's a new time now. But there's things that we did back then that were pretty successful, that was simple and common sense type stuff. And we'd like to continue that. And we've been fortunate that Coach Camps, Coach Greider, were alumni. Coach Manning was alumni, so we continued that on. Coach Cornford, we got him up to speed with the green and gold tradition. So,
I think that,
and he still speaks fondly of that. I know.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
When you look at West, I think it's at that one high school in town that really kind of shows the paradigm shift in the city. When you talk about West High School now basically being smack down in the center of Bakersfield, and it kind of shows how the change has. And for you as a coach, I mean, what have you seen has been the biggest difference from West when you were there, as you've migrated through your life, and now as a head coach?
Well, like Zach brought up, the socioeconomic aspect of it, and you just pointed out the central part of the location in town as far as for the kids. It's a commuter type school now, where we have a lot of apartment complexes, condominiums that are around us. Low-income housing to the center of the center of the town. So you see kids in and out, back and forth, and share a lot more boundaries with schools. Yeah. Back before, and still now, a mile away is a BHS boundary. But still, sharing those boundaries. Miramonte opened up, changed some things, everything east of Union Avenue. So you're dealing with those. Golden Valley South, obviously Ridgeview, Stockdale. Yep. Several students that used to live right by West High but go to Stockdale, Ridgeview, same thing. So the variables there come into play. The youth programs that be able to service some of these high schools, the Golden Empires, things like that they have that we don't, because of the socioeconomic aspect of it. So you have to deal with that all the time also.
Well, if you think about it, when Stockdale opened in 1991, and that was really started the rush of schools coming into Bakersfield almost every 2 years there for a little while. And almost every single one of those schools, except for maybe a Frontier, you mentioned, even I wouldn't have thought Miramonte, but maybe they did too. They all affected West's boundaries in some ways. No other schools affected as much as West.
No. And then, like you said, it's just funny how the district boundaries are drawn. Less than a mile away, you'll have BHS kids going there. You think it's West High, it's right here. Yeah. And or versus just the way the boundaries are drawn. And I understand there's a bigger picture. There's that the district has to do it. The way to be able to equal things out. But with the kids that we have, we like to say that we eat mac and cheese. Some other places they eat steak and potatoes, and we'll take the mac and cheese kids all day long.
Well, and having said that, you've had good. I mean, you go back to Ryan Matthews, that ring on your finger, and Princeton McCarty, AJ Jefferson, those guys. Fred Wilson a couple of years ago. I mean,
Josh Boyd last year.
Boy, you have had Division I football players there. I mean, there is talent.
Sure is.
At West, and I think that has to make you feel, even if it's not this particular year, where I know the transition is going to make things difficult. Not to make an excuse for you, but the future is still bright.
Every year, you never know who's going to walk on campus. And we've always felt like, whoever shows up there, we're going to coach. We don't have to go looking out for another guy, go Tacoma Junior High track meet or something like that. Hey, the kids that show up at West High School, we're blessed to get. We're blessed to coach them. So we're very fortunate in that respect. So we'll see if there are any more D1 guys out there maybe later on. We'll see how that happens.
Well, you don't have a week 0 game, which is probably a good thing considering how late in the game you took the job anyway. You'll take it every week you can get. Open up with Porterville on September the 2nd. Coach, we really appreciate you joining us, and you know, best of luck this year. I know it's not the easiest situation in the world, but sometimes you just sort of buckle up and say, let's go.
Sure, and that's what we've been doing, and we appreciate everything you guys do. I don't know, I mean, thank you so much, the coverage that you do for all the schools, the kids, and everything. Thank you for all the hard work you guys do. We appreciate it.
We take that opportunity, Trevor, to say thanks a million to all of the, what do we have, 22 coaches who come in over 2 days. Look, yesterday's the first day of school.
I mean, it's across the board.
This is really hard to schedule for anybody to come down here to spend 15 minutes with us, and we really appreciate that. So thank you to all the coaches. Thank you to the Kern High School District for accommodating us. And, you know, just it's been another great year of the Coaches Show. We're ready to go next Thursday, 2 o'clock, BVarsity preview. You're on the air Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every week.
We start next Tuesday, BVarsity Nightly.
And then Friday Night Football we'll have live on Bakersfield.com and on ESPN Radio 1230 this year yet again. So for Trevor Horn, for John Farron and Chris McCullough, who produced and directed for us the last couple of days, I'm Zach Ewing, and this has been the BVarsity Super Show.
Looking deep down the left side, Mendeville into the end zone, touchdown!